He's taking worse beatings.
Anyone threaten our home.
How strong is this man? Hello superhero fanatics, Hell's Kitchen residents, and fellow mudbeers, and today we're going to be making one more video for Daredevil Born Again. Let's get into the scene that has just been sitting in my mind since the finale actually aired. That is, of course, the scene with what happened with the Commissioner. See, throughout the season, we've seen that this Commissioner was a good guy, someone who stood up for what was right and had a moral high ground over Fisk. And I like how Fisk has slowly come into power because over the season, he's manipulated everybody who talked down upon him or looked at him as a villain. He's never denied the fact that he was a villain, but he kept in mind who said what and how they treated him. Eventually, this does lead to the Commissioner playing himself, and when he's lured down into the basement, that's when Fisk decides to make his entire speech to some of the officers and staff that are still loyal to him. And what better way to celebrate all your plans coming into fruition than a grand display of violence? See, Fisk sets the Commissioner up and immediately sets his hands on the side of his head. And most people that watch this show probably have also seen or at least heard of Invincible. But in a lot of movies, films, or TV shows that are kind of violent, you have a moment where someone gets their head crushed. And usually it always happens the same way, with a pop, with an explosion, just kind of a bam. Every now and then you'll have these moments in TV where whoever's working on the design and the aesthetics somehow knock it out of the park and tap into a very dark, twisted realism of how the body actually works. And by that I mean, when Fisk was crushing this guy's head, obviously I can't show the clip of what actually happened, but with the realistic nature of how his head actually did kind of explode, quote unquote, it really did just leave me shook. Take a look.
Appreciate that, Joey.
Well, she got this guy killed. I really liked him too. He was a good dude. Oh, he's gonna die right where Hector died too. Not where Hector died.
Has to keep New York safe. Keep you safe.
He's dead. They're building up his death a lot though. Maybe he'll actually live, but I mean, this is a lot of build up for him getting blasted several times.
This is a circus.
Oh man, I don't want his death to be brutal. If they want him
So bad.
to live, they should kill him.
We will keep this city safe.
There's no... He's taking worse beatings.
Anyone threaten our home.
How strong is this man? Oh, that was a little too visceral even for me. I thought it would pop like Omni-Man. An Omni-Man kill, but that was... The way it... That was a little too realistic, even for me. I am a horror fan, but my gosh, I thought it would explode. I genuinely thought it would explode, but... I'm glad they didn't make this character more like... He's a likable character. I'm glad they didn't keep him around for multiple seasons before doing that to him. That was horrifying. Oh my gosh. That was actually insane. I'm gonna have to edit this down now. Post it. That actually made me... It's hard for me to get uncomfortable with horror movies or with anything like that. Like, maybe some good acting will make me feel something, but like visually, I just don't really get bothered. It's too... I'm too out of the realm, you know? It's too easy to separate. But just like with Glenn's death in The Walking Dead, like there's just a uncomfortable realism to that. My goodness, that was brutal. If that was Bullseye, I would be crying right now. I'm not gonna lie, I'd actually be crying for how horrible that was. Genuinely haven't seen a death this hyper realistic and well done in quite a while. Usually there's some over the top deaths and some gory horror movies, but This one was specifically a little bit dark, which surprises me because there's another series that this exact death reminded me of. And spoiler alert, for anyone who doesn't want spoilers for The Walking Dead, tune out now, but otherwise, the actual spoiler would be The Walking Dead killed off Glenn in the exact same way. Or not the exact same way, but in a way that was very hyper-realistic in the way his head was actually destroyed. And part of the outcome of that was the entire world kind of went up in an outcry. A lot of people were very upset, and AMC literally had to dial back the violence of their show. I don't know, they might have picked it back up at some point. It was so upsetting to fans and viewers that they had to dial back the actual violence in the show, and viewership did drop as a whole. And this was a show where literal children had been eaten alive up at this point. Now, take a Daredevil show, a show where this character is on Disney and has associated themselves with not only people like Punisher, Spider-Man, and Miss Marvel. He's very much indoctrinated into the MCU. Think back, not too long ago he was just on She-Hulk, and yet now you have a scene like this displayed on our screens that takes place in the exact same universe. And don't get me wrong, I am all here for it. I like Marvel taking a darker path with some of their projects and actually leaning into the more adult themes. That being said, I do think it's kind of crazy that a show like The Walking Dead will kill Glenn off the way they did and have severe backlash. And I'm curious to see how this show does with how they decided to kill off this commissioner. The stark difference being Glenn was a fan favorite and around on the show for 7 to 8 years. And while this commissioner was a pretty good dude, I don't feel we got to grow attached to him enough for audiences to necessarily feel as bad. That being said, I could easily see if this character had been around for multiple seasons, this kind of death would have upset people way beyond what they would have been prepared for. By the way, I just kind of had to talk about this because I feel like this is a pretty crazy episode. The whole season was pretty great. I did thoroughly enjoy it, but it was kind of far from perfect. That being said, I'll still be coming back and watching it weekly when season 2 does come out, and the hype is definitely built. Another aspect of the show I thoroughly enjoyed was BB's interviews, where she was going around New York and recording/interviewing the residents of New York that live within the MCU. My one complaint would be that the way it ended in season 1 did kind of feel anticlimactic, and I don't know why. Part of me maybe just got hyped in the beginning of the episode that Bullseye would come back into play and there'd be an awesome fight with him again, but I know there is word going around that this show was kind of filmed as one whole season that was split in half, so perhaps the next episode or season 2's opener will actually have some huge fight just like season 1 did. Either way, this season definitely proved to me that Daredevil as a character has not been ruined, and Fisk's performance every single episode. And I'm so happy they brought Karen back. She's been a staple of the Netflix franchise. I'm happy they got Punisher back and he's getting his own show, and I'm happy they got Bullseye back into play. Please do not kill this guy off. Let him be a villain, let him be an anti-hero, I don't care. But either way, I really did enjoy the series. But what did you guys think? Was it worth watching? Did you really enjoy it? I wasn't really too sure what the next video I was going to make on Daredevil would be, and I thought it was going to be something more of a review. This video was more just a mini review and to talk about that one specific scene. Didn't do another musical edit for the intro of this video, just like I did with my other Daredevil vids, just because they don't really do as popular as some of my other videos, but if this one does well, maybe I will make another video or just an edit specifically for people who are fans of Daredevil. Either way, I just had to get my thoughts off because that scene really did stick in my mind, and I'm someone who's such a big fan of horror, I'm desensitized to most stuff. But that being said, what did you guys think? Did you think it was a pretty good scene or a pretty good season, or would there be some changes you'd want to make? Either way, appreciate all your support, appreciate all your feedback, and remember, careful when repping that Punisher tattoo, he might think you're a clown.